All right, hello. This is lesson number 2 in our unit for math and fractions. So yesterday, just as a reminder, we kind of took a look at the introduction to fractions and kind of diving into what that looks like and how it works. So today we're going to dive into the second part. Just as a reminder, if you remember here, I've got my fraction that we created 3/8, and we just simply were able to create first. We started with a half fraction, right, by cutting it in or folding it in half. And then we were able to create the quarters by cutting it into, no magic trick here, putting it into fours. And then we were able to cut that into 8 sections by holding it and folding it in half again. And so then we created these 8 sections. And then I colored in 3, and I thus made the fraction 3/8. So the numerator is there. And so it has to do with the number that was colored in 3, and the denominator there. That's the total number of sections we cut in. So that's just a friendly reminder. We are going to do this together, so you're going to have to kind of work with me. So pause the video, and what you'll need either a piece of paper or a note card or a Post-it note, something that you can use so that we can kind of work together to kind of do some fractions. So pause the video right here, and then come back when you are ready to go. Okay, so now you should have your note card. You should have your piece of paper, whatever it is. So we're going to kind of go through this. So yesterday we kind of worked with the halves, quarters, and eighths. Those are the fraction names: 1/2, 1/4, and 1/8, or eighths. Okay. And so today we're going to work into thirds. Thirds is a little bit more difficult because you're going to have to do some complex folding. But we're going to start there. So we're going to divide this rectangle. This is a rectangle cake. And we're going to divide this into 3 sections. And to do that, we basically have to kind of take a look at our card and see how we can fold it to where we have 2 folds. It's a little bit off, but it'll work. So remember, a fraction has to be equal sections. And so if you can kind of see, my sections are kind of close. But they're a little bit off. This section over here is much smaller than this section on this side. And so we're going to try again. I'm going to try again. I'm going to grab another note card just because it's going to be one of those things where we're going to practice to get good at it. So we're going to go here, there, and then we're going to fold there. Oh, that's better. All right. So now I've basically took my fraction and I divided into 3 sections. Okay. So this is thirds. And so if I want to look at just doing 1/3, I can basically say, okay, I'm going to color in 1 section, and this 1 section that I colored in creates a 1/3. And so we can kind of see right here, I colored in one part of it, so 1/3. Okay. So that's the first one. The next thing that we can do is we can take this and turn it into sixths. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the same card that I have, and we're going to fold it in half top down. So we're making it like a hot dog bun, and we're going to fold it. And you can pause the video and make that fold as well so that you are on the same page with me. And then we'll get back. Okay, so now your paper's folded, and so now you can see I created a line down the middle, thus breaking it up into 6 sections, and this becomes sixths. So once again, the denominator is going to be 6 because there's 6 parts to what we've created. Okay, so now I've got my same colored in. I colored in 1/3, but now I've cut it into sixths, and so now what I have colored in becomes a equivalent fraction. That's a new word that we're going to talk about, equivalent. So this is now an equivalent fraction, 2/6. So I cut it into 6 parts, and I have 2 of the parts colored in, thus making the new fraction, 2/6. Didn't add any colors, still colored the same amount, but my fraction has changed by the amount of sections that I put within my fraction. Okay? The last thing that we're going to do with this card, you can use the same card. If you need to start over, you can, but we're going to go ahead and work with the same card. So now we're going to do this. We are going to take this and we are going to fold it again in half. And this time I'm going to fold it again make it a little hot dog. So it's a little hot dog bun. I'm going to fold it in half one more time. Okay. So again, I just took this. So I started here, right? fold it in half, and then I had my fold in half again, okay? So now I'm going to open that up, and now we have a total of 12 sections. So we have 4, 4, and 4. So 3 columns of 4 create our 12ths. And so this is going to look like the 12 is the denominator. Okay, so that's the number of sections. And then we can look and see I didn't color anything more. I still have that one section colored in, but I can now count and see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections colored in. And so I've made another equivalent fraction to 1/3, and I've created 4/12. Again, didn't change how much I colored in, but I did change the number of sections, and they are still equal sections. Everything's equally divided. So if I basically have a cake, I cut it into thirds, then I cut it into sixths, and then I cut finally the cake into 12ths. And so these are fractions that we can work with throughout this lesson. That's kind of what we're going to be focusing on. And then you have a new word, obviously, equivalent fractions. And we're going to talk more about that in the coming videos. Thank you.